Hello again, and welcome to our final episode of Financial Literacy for Lawyers, Bridging Law and Business. I'm Professor Seth C. Oranburg, and over the past 10 episodes, we faced every lawyer's least favorite house guest, the numbers, but we learned how to speak their language. So today we step back and ask, how can financial fluency turbocharge your legal career? It's not just about catching fraud. It's about expanding opportunity, earning client trust, and practicing law at the top of your game. If you felt anxious about numbers at the start, I hope you're now seeing them as potential allies, ones that you can understand and master. Now that you see the balance sheet as a snapshot, the income statement as a movie, and the statement of cash flows as your behind the scenes access. This series is designed for educational purposes only. For specific legal advice, consult a professional. Remember episode 1 where we tackled the myth that lawyers can ignore the numbers? We used Enron's oversight failures as a cautionary tale. By mastering balance sheets for insolvency clues, by looking at income statements for misleading earnings, and by looking at cash flows as truth tellers, you now have a toolkit few attorneys possess. We connected dots in forensics. We talked about how governance boards have new duties when we are in M&A, securities, and bankruptcy situations. And clients are going to feel the difference because now you are able to speak their language. A contract drafted by a lawyer who understands debt covenants and EBITDA thresholds inspires more confidence than one who only understands generic terms because you're tying to their business reality. In my opinion, financial fluency isn't optional. Financial literacy is a passport to your legal advancement. First, partnership and promotion, because firms prioritize rainmakers who translate legal risk into dollars by quantifying impacts for clients. Plus, as you rise through the ranks, it may be more and more important for you to manage the finances of your law firm as a business. And how about for in-house counsel? CFOs really value lawyers who can walk through cash flow forecasts without translators. This bridges departments and really strengthens your role in the C-suite. And how about being on a board? Public companies have to disclose their board expertise. By grasping financials, you have a chance to rise in the nominations and be more eligible to serve. And how about in governance or in policy? Well, regulators need attorneys who parse statutes and spreadsheets for rules like crypto and ESG too. And this might open you up to expert witness and even teaching. Savvy lawyers can testify on breaches or lead CLEs talking about monetizing their knowledge. But it's not just about monetizing on top of your existing knowledge. It might be about meeting your ethical requirements. Let's go back to ABA Model Rule 1.1. It demands competent representation, which includes financial implications. In FDIC versus Potteroff, 1993, counsel ignored loan loss reserves and faced negligence liability. Again, showing fluency isn't a luxury, it's risk management, and it's best lawyering. It prevents oversight that leads to claims against you and can protect your license. So, how do you keep your skills sharp? Well, hopefully this has been one aspect of your lifelong learning that has really helped develop you. But let's consider some other options that might fit your schedule. You could refresh your ratios with ABA's Accounting Basics CLE when it feels right, or just jump onto ChatGPT and ask it to remind you what are the basic financial ratios you should know about. You could explore industry metrics through resources like going to at the SEC EDGAR and downloading a public company statement and just reviewing it from time to time. Try a forensic workshop from ACFE, for example, one on statement fraud for deeper dives. And if you really want to sharpen your skills, you could check out Coursera's financial modeling course for hands-on practice, learning how to actually build some of the statements that you've now learned to read. Sharing what you've learned in a firm session or mentoring a junior can reinforce your expertise and position you as the go-to resource. In any event, find what works for you. Learning is personal, and you can start small and build as you're ready. In this season, we fundamentally debunked the illiteracy myth because we saw how Enron's blind spot cost them billions. We also learned how to dig through balance sheets for risks by understanding assets and liabilities at a high level. We detected income lies. We verified cash truths. We looked at forensic patterns. We talked about how boards need to observe their care mark duties, especially when they're in conditions of the zone of insolvency. We related to structuring M&A deals. We looked at disclosure risks in securities, and we strategized around bankruptcy. In each of these, we built progressive, blending examples and analogies and tips for retention. You've gained real-world tools today. You've made positive progress toward financial fluency that anticipates risk, adds value, and positions you ahead in a numbers-driven profession. As a final exercise, maybe think about looking back at a client file or a news case from the season. What new insights do you have now that you didn't before? Or what new questions do you have that you want to take to the next level? It's a great way to see your own growth. Financial fluency doesn't make you less a lawyer, it makes you more, sharpening advice, widening horizons, and making the job more fulfilling. When you can read numbers, facts speak louder, deals become clearer, and surprises fade away. So I hope you stay curious through reviews, mentoring, or whatever fits so that you can thrive. As your journey continues, embrace it with confidence. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Professor Seth C. Orenberg, and this has been Organized.